Imagine you're owed a pension, but you have absolutely no idea how to claim it. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into a critical, highly practical issue, finding out if the federal government is currently holding on to your hard-earned retirement money.
Think about it for a second. You worked for a company for years, maybe even decades, but eventually they went bankrupt or you just moved on and lost track of them. You know for a fact you earned that money, but you're completely in the dark on how to actually get it. Well, this explainer is your step-by-step guide to uncovering if your Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, or PBGC, is holding your pension. We are going to turn a really frustrating, confusing problem into clear, actionable steps.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Understanding the PBGC. 2. Finding your missing pension. 3. A real-life example. 4. How to claim it. 5. Overcoming common challenges. And 6. Next steps and resources.
Section 1. Understanding the PBGC.
Okay, so let's kick things off by figuring out what the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation actually is and why they exist in the first place. Basically, the PBGC acts as a giant safety net, but it's really important to know they only cover specific types of retirement plans. The absolute crucial point here is that they cover private sector defined benefit pension plans. That includes both single-employer and multi-employer plans, but, and this is a big but, they do not cover defined contribution plans, like your standard 401ks, and they don't cover government or church plans either. This is a vital distinction, right? Because if your missing retirement funds are sitting in an old 401k, the PBGC is definitely not the agency holding your money.
Just to put the sheer scale of this operation into perspective, the PBGC currently insures the pensions of about 30 million American workers and retirees. 30 million. That coverage spans across roughly 24,000 active plans. It is an absolutely massive operation, and is designed solely to protect the retirement incomes of working Americans when things go completely wrong in the corporate world.
So, they were established by Title IV of the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. You'll often hear that called ERISA, which is the landmark federal pension law. The PBGC operates under very strict federal regulations. But you know what's really fascinating? They are actually a self-financing agency. Yeah, they aren't funded by your tax dollars at all. Instead, they rely on insurance premiums paid by the companies themselves. So when an employer goes bankrupt and their pension plan fails, the PBGC steps in as a trustee to make sure you still get paid your basic guaranteed benefits.
Section 2. Finding your missing pension.
All right, let's move into the execution phase and map out the exact online tools you're going to need to track down your missing pension. You really want to follow this specific protocol on the PBGC website. First up, you check the Unclaimed Retirement Benefits database, using your last name and the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. Now, if that yields absolutely nothing, don't sweat it. Step 2 is to search the Trusted Plans directory, and this time you use your former employer's name. Finally, if you are still coming up empty-handed, you'll want to audit the Missing Participants Registry.
Now keep this in the back of your mind while you're searching. These databases are actively maintained and regularly updated. For instance, the most recent quarterly update to the Unclaimed database happened on August 5th, 2026. So the main takeaway here is this. If your plan just recently ended, your information might literally just now be entering their system. If you don't find yourself in there today, it doesn't mean your money is gone forever. You might just need to check back after their next update cycle.
Section 3. A real-life example.
I know bureaucratic processes can feel super abstract, so let's ground all this information by looking at a real-world hypothetical scenario. Imagine our worker knows their old company closed down years ago. They had a traditional defined benefit pension plan, but after the whole bankruptcy mess, they completely lost track of it. They never got a payout, no letters in the mail, literally zero communication about their retirement funds. Let's see how our protocol actually works for them in action. Following the steps, the worker starts by searching the Unclaimed database, but no match. Instead of panicking, they move right to step 2 and search the Trusted Plans list using their old company's name. And bingo, success! They find their employer on the list. From there, the worker secures their specific PBGC 8-digit case number. You guys, that 8-digit number, that is the golden ticket they will need for literally every single step that follows.
Section 4. How to claim it.
Okay, so you locate your plan. Awesome. But now you enter the next critical phase, gathering the rigorous evidence they require. Because let's be real, it's not enough to just call them up and say, hey, I work there. You absolutely have to gather some specific documents. The most critical piece of evidence is Form SSA-L99-C1 from the Social Security Administration. That is basically a notice of potential private retirement benefit information.
Aside from that, you should also dig up historical W-2 forms, any old pay stubs, your employer identification number or EIN, your exact dates of employment, and your union local number if you had one. All of this is just to prove your employment history and your vesting status.
Once you have all those documents assembled, here is how you actually trigger the claim. First, you're going to call the PBGC Customer Contact Center. Make sure you have that 8-digit case number ready to go. Second, request a formal benefit estimate so you know exactly what your monthly payouts are going to look like. Third, submit Form 700, which is the application for pension benefits. You can do this securely online through their MyPBA portal or just by mail. And finally, you wait. It typically takes about 3 months for the PBGC to verify all your info and issue that very first payment.
When you're planning out this whole process, I want you to remember this specific number, 180. You must apply if you want to begin receiving your retirement benefit within the next 180 days, or if you're officially going to reach retirement age within that time frame. Timing your application properly is absolutely crucial to ensure a smooth transition into your retirement.
Section 5. Overcoming common challenges.
We definitely need to preemptively talk about some of the friction you might run into because, well, government bureaucracy rarely moves perfectly smoothly. One major hurdle is record processing delays. Imagine this. Your old employer tells you the PBGC took over your pension, but when you call the contact center, they have no idea who you are. Do not give up. The PBGC often has to physically go to an employer's location, pack up literal boxes of paper records, and manually type them into their systems. They might just be facing a processing backlog for your specific plan's records.
Furthermore, there is a totally different scenario called a standard termination. This happens when a plan closes, but they actually had enough funds to pay everyone out. If you are part of a standard termination, the main PBGC call center won't be able to look you up by name, simply because that specific data isn't loaded into their primary system. Instead, you'll need to go a completely different route and submit a formal Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA, request to get the distribution data from the plan's standard termination file.
Section 6. Next Steps and Resources.
Let's wrap up this explainer by making sure you know exactly where to turn for help and support. Your main lifeline is the PBGC Customer Contact Center at the number we've got listed here. You will also definitely want to set up an account on the MyPBGA online portal to easily manage your benefits. Now, if you hit a massive roadblock, especially with those frustrating paper record delays we just talked about, reach out to the Office of the PBGC Participant and Plan Sponsor Advocate. They actually offer a dedicated pension tracing service to help hunt down your money. You can also lean on the Employee Benefits Security Administration at the Department of Labor for a little extra backup.
And of course, as always, while this explainer outlines the formal protocol and the mechanics of the PBGC, your financial situation is entirely unique to you. This explainer provides general instructional guidance. You should always directly consult the PBGC or a qualified financial professional to finalize your claims and get advice that is specifically tailored to your personal situation.
And that brings us to our final thought for the day. Will you take the first step today to uncover your hidden retirement funds? And what hurdles do you anticipate facing along the way? I highly encourage you to head over to pbgc.gov right now and just check your status. It takes just a few minutes and it could literally pay off for the rest of your life. Please share your experiences or any questions you have in the comments below to help out the community. Your journey might be the exact blueprint somebody else needs to find their money. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy hunting for your pension.